Hey guys, welcome to AWS Interview Questions Part 2. For Part 1, please check my channel. Let's get started. What's the difference between launch template and launch configuration? Nowadays, this question is asked more frequently. Let's check it from dashboard. You'll find it under auto scaling, launch configuration. So let's hit create and see what inputs it takes. Name, AMI, instance type, options to purchase spot instances, IAM role, storage, security groups, key pair. So it takes very basic information, and this is used for launching EC2 instances in auto scaling. So launch configuration versus launch template, that's the question. So while configuring auto scaling group, create auto scaling group. So you have options to create a launch template. If you do that, launch template takes more inputs. Number one, it can maintain multiple versions. Fine. In launch template, we have options to choose on-demand instances plus spot instances, both, which is not available in launch configuration. Then it supports choosing multiple instance types in same auto scaling group. And coming to storage, it has support for all types of storages like general purpose. We have two types there, GP2, GP3, and but launch configuration, it doesn't support all the types. Okay, so at high level, that's the basic difference between launch configuration and launch template. Launch template is altogether a big topic, so I will cover that in a separate video. Question number 2 is, can we encrypt EC2 root volume? The answer is yes. Let's go and launch instance. Let me pick AMI randomly and instance type, leave that, and configure instance details. Let's go with defaults. So here, this is root volume. That's where our operating system sits. You have options to encrypt that. Yes, we can encrypt root volumes for EC2 instances. Question 3. What's the difference between spot instance and reserved instance? First, let's talk reserved instances. So reserved instances or instances where we're gonna give long-term commitment for 1 year or 3 years. In return, Amazon gives significant discounts. So we go for reserved instance where we want this instance for 1 or 3 years for sure, number one, and we're gonna use this instance all the time in the day, in the week, and in the month. So that's what reserved instance is all about. And coming to spot requests, spot instances are instances allocated by AWS from unused capacity. For example, in a specific AZ, Amazon has a lot of capacity deployed and all the capacity is not used by the tenants. So it has unused capacity. Now Amazon provides a way to use that unused capacity for cheaper cost. So spot instances are very cheap. You get up to 90% of cost savings when it's compared with on-demand instances, but it has downside. The downside is, so when you go and purchase a spot instance like this, launch instance, AMI, any instance type. So purchase option. So when you go and purchase spot instance, so there is a spot price. Okay, so that is dynamic. So the current spot price is $0.0037. I can set my maximum price. So this is current spot price. Over time, based on the demand, the spot price can go up or down. Let's say I give a spot price like this. Means, right, if spot price is about the price I gave here or less, so Amazon will not interrupt my spot instances. Let's say spot price has become more than the maximum price I mentioned. So then my instance goes for spot interruption, meaning if spot price is more than the price I'm okay to pay, in such cases Amazon gives a 2 minutes notice and it terminates the spot instance. So we can choose whether to terminate or to stop. That's a different story again. So that's the drawback of spot instances. But we have plenty of use cases where we can use spot instances. For example, we're setting up auto scaling group and 60% I want on demand, and let's say 30% I want reserved, and remaining 20% I want to put my spot instances. So we have lots of use cases and scenarios where we can use spot instances. The next question, for spot instances, when interruption occurs, we want to stop instead of termination. How? Just now I explained what is spot instance and what is spot interruption. So when there is a spot interruption, Amazon issues a 2 minutes notice, and after that it can either stop the instance or terminate the instance. Now the question is, I don't want my spot instances to be terminated. I want that to be stopped so that I'll have my EBS volume. So probably I can slowly take a backup or take data from EBS volume and move it to somewhere else. I can do things like that. Or even when spot price meets my expectations, right? Again, I can launch the instance with the same EBS volume. Let's see that. While launching EC2 instance, purchasing option spot instance and use persistent request. So if you use persistent request, you have the behavior, interruption behavior, I could say stop. So instead of terminating the instance, now spot will get stopped when there is a spot interruption. Question number 5. What kind of instances we should choose for scheduled jobs which runs 4 hours a day? And the scenario is we have scheduled jobs and we need the capacity only for 4 hours in a day, and we want this for long term, not for short term. We want it for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. That's the overall question. For long term commitments, we have reserved, and there is one more which is scheduled instances. So we use reserved for long term commitments, and where we use this instance all the time, okay, throughout day, throughout week, throughout month, okay, all the time. But the current scenario is I don't want it all the day. I want it only for a specific time, 4 hours a day. So then instead of reserved instance, we should go for scheduled instance. So that option is not there, that feature is not there in Mumbai region. So let's switch to a different region where we see that feature. Scheduled instances. So that's the answer. You have some scheduled jobs which runs 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, for example, and you want it for long term, like 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, then go with scheduled instances. How do you attach new EBS volume? Okay, let's see that. So from my list of instances, let me randomly pick one instance. So let's say I want to add new volume to this existing EC2 instance. Okay, scroll towards right, find its availability zone. Okay, because I should create EBS volume in same zone. That's number one. Volumes, create volume. I think it's 1B, right? Choose type, choose size and other details and hit create volume. So after creating volume, refresh. So go to actions, attach volume. So to which instance? Okay, I want to attach this volume to Tomcat Dev, for example. Device, this gets auto-populated, attach. So we still have further steps to take care. Okay, so many people get confused that after attaching to EC2 we are done. No, so after attaching to EC2 we should log into our EC2, SSH into EC2. Okay, this is new volume, create a file system on it, followed by create a mount point, followed by mount this volume, and finally make this entry in fs tab file so that when EC2 reboots, that newly added volume will get auto mounted. That's the whole process of adding EBS volumes to EC2 instance. Next question, how do you monitor memory utilization of EC2? By default, CloudWatch doesn't support monitoring memory utilization. Now, the answer is we should install a CloudWatch agent and configure CloudWatch agent to select memory utilization or any other custom metrics on that machine. Send that to CloudWatch dashboard, and that way we can monitor memory utilization of EC2 instance. What is instance store? Our EC2 instance can be launched with EBS or instance store. EBS is persistent store, so data stored on it is permanent. Instance store is ephemeral. The instance store, what you store on instance store is lost when our EC2 instance crashes or EC2 instance stops. The only reason why we should use instance store is it's very cheap when compared with EBS volumes. We can use instance store backed EC2 instances for applications where we want to set up cache stuff. Means even if my EC2 stops or terminates, we lose cache, but the cache can be loaded from your database, right? So such scenarios we can use EC2 instances backed by instance store. But in my career I never use instance store, but this is asked in interviews. Let's have a look at how to launch EC2 instances with instance store. So launch instance, generally we go with quick start. So go to community AMIs and scroll down, root device type, enable instance store, and you get the AMIs which support instance store. Select that, and there are some limitations like if your instance is backed by instance store, it doesn't support these instance types and families. Go down and select something randomly here. This is networking stuff, and see, it is not EBS volume, all are instance store. Next question, what is difference between public and private subnets? Public subnets are subnets exposed to internet. We create public subnets using internet gateways. Public subnets will have outbound internet connections plus inbound internet connections. So we put all internet facing applications like web servers, APIs into a public subnet. And coming to private subnet, so applications like your databases or any application which not be internet facing, that gets into private subnet. and we configure internet access to private subnets using NAT instance or NAT gateways. Again, the difference is public subnet means exposed to internet using internet gateway, and private subnets, they are not exposed to internet. That's the difference between public and private subnets. Can we resize EC2 instance? Yes, we can resize EC2 instance. For example, I want to resize my Tomcat, which is T2 Micro, actions, instance settings, change instance type, and choose different instance type. Okay, you may choose the bigger instance or small instance and say apply. That way we can resize EC2 instances. One condition for resizing instances, it should be in stop state. Otherwise, we can't resize it. Thank you for watching this video.